In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the coming soon features of the Drop theme. I will be working with theme version 2.0. Earlier versions of the Drop theme had slightly different functionality because collection metafields did not exist yet. So be sure you are using version 2.0 or later when following this tutorial. First step to using the coming soon features on the Drop theme is to set up the proper metafields. So from your Shopify admin, you're going to go to Settings, Metafields, and we're going to create two different metafields. The first one is going to be a product level metafield. So you're going to click on Products, Add Definition. We're going to name this Launch. It's very important that the namespace and key be exactly as it's shown here. So it should be my_fields.launch. This is used in the code of the theme. And so it's important that it's not launched or launch date. It needs to be exactly as written here, and it needs to be launch. You can give this a description like launch date of product. And the content type is going to be date and time. And then when you click that, you're going to choose date and time. Now for the validation, you want to leave this blank. Do not put any restrictions on the date unless, of course, you are trying to restrict the specific dates for your employees, but most circumstances there shouldn't be any restrictions. And this just automatically fills in, but do not select a date validation. So once that's set up, it's set to launch. We're going to save that. And we're going to go back and create one for collections. So we're going to click on collections, add definition, and this is also going to be launch. And again, it needs to be my_fields.launch, and that is very important. So then description is going to be launch date for collection. And then we're going to select the date and time, and leave that blank. We're going to save that. So now we have a launch metafield for products and a launch metafield for collections. Let's go through how to use the countdown section. So I have the countdown selected, and these are the settings here on the right-hand side. So in this first example, I'm going to go through creating a collection countdown. So we have a collection that's going to drop or launch soon, and we want to promote it. So first, when I click on Select Collection, you'll see I don't have the collection created yet, and I want to actually create it with you. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click Create Collection, and we're going to do, I'm just going to name this Coming Soon, but this could be any collection. You could be having a new sneaker drop, or a clothing line's going to come out. You can name this whatever you'd like. I'm just going to do Coming Soon for this. And then you would create the collection just as you usually do. I'm going to go based on, let's see, something easy here. We'll do based on vendor to add these products. So I'm going to click Save real quick. And that gives me 2 products, which is fine. So these are 2 bibs that I'm going to have coming soon. And so you can see the metafield launch date right here. And we're going to select the date this collection is going to launch. So it needs to be a date in the future. As long as the date is in the future from the minute that you're setting it up, then the countdown will start. If it's in the past, then it's already launched. So this has to be a future date. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose this Saturday, and I'm going to click Save. And so we have that collection set up. Coming soon, and select. So the way that the section works is it's going to take the first product that's inside the collection you chose, and it will use the first 2 images of that product. Now, the first product right now is this red bib, and the image is kind of small. if you look at the product, you'll see there's only one image, so that's why it's only showing one image here. And so if you want to, you can actually override the images selected in the section settings here under override image 1 and override image 2. So I could select different images here in place of the one that was selected by default. Another option I could do, I'm going to go ahead and remove these, is to go to the collection in the admin, and I could change the order of which product is showing first. So I can go to manually and then change the order. I'm also going to change a setting here to show more products in my coming soon collection. So I'm going to save this real quick. And now there's more products in here as well. So I'm going to just move one of these other products up. And then go back to our section. So now it's using the first product I've selected, which is this swaddle blanket, and it's using the first and second image of that product. So I'm going to save my changes so far. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go ahead and keep the images that are here, so I'm not going to use the override images, and move on to link text. Link text will show up in the upper right hand corner, and it only shows up when you select a link. So this is if you want to maybe link to an outside page that describes how the countdown works. That's what we have in here default, but you can change the wording of this text. So I could click on one of my pages, and then it would show the link here, and I can change the text here. Let's just add a single question mark. So that will open up the page that I selected here. If you remove the link, it will remove it from the section. Next, this is the during countdown settings. So while it's in the countdown, what will it say? So you could say collection drops in, or you could edit this to say whatever you'd like. Collection, you could say collection launches. And then the button here, you can edit the text for this to something else if you'd like. And then this is the heading down here in the bottom right hand corner. So the new drop is almost here. So you can also edit that. And by default, this is going to link to the collection URL. If you had selected a product, it'll link to the product page. And then we're going to go down to the after countdown. Now, once the countdown ends, the text is going to change. And this is the text that will be shown. So you can change this label to say collection has dropped. And then you can say a message, because a message will appear here, and it will say that it's completed. So you can say countdown complete, the collection is here. You can edit the message that reveals. And then you can also edit the button text. So now it's time to shop, ready, set, shop. And then you can edit the heading. This says the new drop is finally here. And again, that still links to the same location. The section styles, this is if you want the section to be full width. And then the spacing is for the top and bottom, which is like all sections in the drop theme. Right now it's just set to bottom, that way that the section is very first and it touches the announcement bar. And so this is how we would set it up for a coming soon collection. Now I'm going to change this and do it with a product instead. So I'm going to remove the collection, and you can see here's that text again. This is what it looks like once the collection countdown is complete. So you can see that. So I'm going to select a product instead. So I want to actually find that Muslim swaddle blanket, because I'm going to use that as an example. And I'm going to select that. Now you can see automatically it's already starting to count down. And that's because this product belongs inside of a collection that has the launch date here. So by default, it's going to look and say, okay, is this in a collection that's coming soon that has a launch meta field? If so, use that date to start the countdown. Now, you can override that countdown date if you wanted to on the specific product. And to do that, we're going to go to the product in a new tab. And if I scroll down, I have a launch date for the specific product as well. And if I select one here, I'm going to choose a date even farther in the future. Save it. And sometimes when you save your meta fields, give it a few seconds. It can be a little slower to update. I'm going to save my changes here as well. So you can see now we're at 28 days away. So instead of using the collection countdown date or launch date, it's using the product launch date instead. So you can always override the collection launch date with the product launch date by applying it to the product. Now, if I didn't want that, I could go back to the product and remove the date, save my changes, and it will go back to using just the collection launch date. And I'm going to give it a second to update. So I gave that a second to update, and now it's showing 3 days, which is the launch date set on the collection. So that's how you use the countdown for a collection or a product. Now that we have our countdown set up, I'm going to have a look at our coming soon collection. So this countdown in the template header, you will need to make sure that your collection has a launch date. And so if you remember, our coming soon collection does, and you'll see it does have a launch date. So this launch date on the collection is going to be what shows in the template header. And if you click on the template header section and scroll to the bottom, you'll see a few settings for collections, and one of them is show countdown. And so if you don't want the countdown to show in the header, you can also turn it off with this setting. Our coming soon collection here has the launch date set. And so any of the products that exist in this collection, when you're looking at the collection page, will have the notify me button. It also will show the coming soon label. If I go to one of the coming soon products in the coming soon collection, you'll see that it shows the coming soon header, and it does not show the purchase form. And this is how it's set up by default. So we're going to go through how to actually make changes to what the coming soon header looks like. So you're going to click on coming soon, and you can see there's quite a few different blocks that you can work with. I'm going to go ahead and take the countdown and move it below the title. And if I click on title, you'll see there's one setting over here on the right to show launch date. So it's showing right here the date that it's going to launch. I could hide that, or I can show it. Next, I'm going to click on description. Right now, it has a shortened description. It's showing just the first few sentences. It could be just a little tidbit of your product information. And then that's if you want to use the full description down below, or you can unselect this and it will show the whole description. It's including the bullet points here as well. If I didn't want to show the description at all, I could either hide or remove this block. Next is the notify button, and when you click on this, it shows we will email you as soon as this drops, and it will notify the merchant that this customer wants to know when this is going to drop. The next thing is the text pop-up. So this is right here. This is the size guide, which creates a pop-up. You could have a table for sizes in there. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. You'll see you can change the label, you can change the content that shows, or choose content from a page, and you can use meta fields for all of these. So this is unique on a product level. If you don't need the pop-up, you can go ahead and remove the block. The next is an accordion title. So this creates these accordions for content. And so you can actually change the name of the title here, the content that shows, whether it's open by default, or you can use page content instead of this content here. And so you can also remove this block if you don't plan on using it. And then if we go to add block, you can re-add those back. So we can do a text pop-up or accordion content, which we just had. And then the last one here is just text. So if you just want to have basic text, it can be meta field, or you can type it here. you can have that showing as well. So we're going to remove that for now, and I'm going to go back, I'm going to put the description, and then I'm going to leave it with just these features here. So I'm going to save my changes. Now if I click on this coming soon collection, you'll see that the settings that belong in the section itself have to do with the image gallery. So right now it's I have the enable click to enlarge, which means this button here, so I can click on it and view the image in the enlarge gallery. And I have the option for gallery size. So I can reduce this to medium and it will make it half and half across the page. I'm going to go back to large. And then this also has section spacing like all of the other sections in the drop theme. So that's what the coming soon header looks like. Now, there is a setting also inside purchase form. So I'm going to click on that. At the very top, it says show on coming soon products. So if you actually want to show the purchase form on the coming soon products, you can select this and it will show here. And what it does is it still doesn't allow the customer to purchase the item. They still have to get notified when it launches, but it does have this additional gallery. It does show the price, and then you also have all of the other blocks that you could possibly add to your product form, like rating, payment terms, the variants, everything else that would be on a normal product. There's lots of different block options to select. And so the intention of this was more, let's say you really want to have a lot of sections on your product page. So we could go ahead, I'm going to move this down a few. So you could have your initial coming soon header, then this is the full description, and then maybe some further details using the details list. Then we've got our media gallery. So you have a lot of sections, and by now the customer has scrolled quite a bit. So if they still want to be notified and see the gallery again, instead of having to scroll all the way to the top, this is a great option to show the purchase form farther down. And so you have that option, and it's still going to have the notify me form. If you don't want to show the purchase form at all, you just go back to that setting and uncheck that. And so that's how you would set the product page for a coming soon product. Collection for the drop theme is a normal grid layout. But the drop theme does come with an alternative collection template, which is called the timeline. And we're going to talk about how to set that up and use it. So I'm going to go to the template picker, choose collections and timeline. Now, right now, it's using the homepage collection to preview this. So I'm going to change that to my coming soon collection for preview. And then I can see my coming soon products. So in this, I have a few options. First, the timeline collection, if it's a coming soon product, is automatically going to show these countdowns over the top of the images. And so it's kind of repetitive to have the countdown in the header as well. So for this, I'm going to go to the template header and I'm going to scroll down and remove this show countdown. So then it's just the name of our timeline. So this can be changed. I'm going to say coming soon drop or something along those lines. And you can also write a subheading if you wanted to here. And something along those lines. So I'm going to go ahead and save those changes, and if I scroll down, you'll notice that every single product has the same launch date, and that's because these products are inside of the coming soon collection, which has the drop date of March 5th, 2022. Now, the timeline works really well if you are planning on having different dates of things launching. So it's like it's called a timeline of a picture of what's coming out and what has already come out. And so if you want to use this for different products that have different launch dates, then this is how you would set it up. So I'm going to go ahead and create a different collection. And I'm going to name this Drops. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Oh, I got to make some selections. So let's see what products I'm going to put in here. I'm going to go ahead and do books. Let's do the books. I'm going to save that. Okay, so here's the books. Now, in this scenario, I want this collection to show all of these products when they launched, or if they haven't launched yet, when they're going to launch. And I don't want it to be set to one date in the future. These books are going to launch different dates. One could launch 1 week, the next week, and so on. And so I am not going to apply the launch meta field on the collection itself. I'm going to do it individually on the products. So I'm going to take this first product here. I'm going to open that in a new tab. And I'm going to choose a launch date for it. So I'm going to choose a launch date in the future. Save that. And then this book is coming out the week before that. And so I would go through and choose the launch dates for each product. So I'm going to do the week before and save those two. And going back to here, I'm going to preview this template with my new collection drops. So the first two products are going to have a countdown. This one is for tomorrow, and this one launches in 1 week. So it says here by default it's dropping on March 9th, and this one is dropping on March 2nd. That has coming soon features is the featured product section. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use that. So I'm going to click on the featured product and select a product. So this swaddle blanket is a product that's inside of my Coming Soon collection. And the Coming Soon collection has a launch date selected. So that is why the countdown has already begun. And it's going to be available March 5th. Now, if I wanted to overwrite this date, remember, you can do that by applying a date on the actual product itself. So I can apply a launch date here in the future. Save that. And you can see now that the date is farther in the future. So it's using the launch date on the product. So the key to remember is the launch date that's on the product will always override the launch date on the collection. We can go ahead and remove this launch date. Save our changes. So I refreshed it, and you can see that now it's back to 3 days. Now it's important to look at this product. This product is in the Coming Soon collection, and this is how it's able to get that launch date from the Coming Soon collection.